A bright new district commander's cap. It's an honor to be elected to the position. It's a job many people consider the most important in the American Legion. Wouldn't it be nice if this bright new cap were filled with everything you needed to know to be successful? If all you had to do is put it on and immediately have all the answers. Unfortunately, we don't have such a magic solution. But maybe we can get you started with this video program. We're going to spend the next few minutes talking about your responsibilities as a district commander. We'll talk about some of your new responsibilities, some challenges you may face in the coming year, and a few ways to prepare yourself for the job. We have interviews with some of your peers who will discuss how they define a successful district and give you tips on some resources you can take advantage of. We'll talk a little about how to establish goals, how to use public relations, and your role as a member on the membership team. Now, that's a lot of information to cover, and we can't possibly cover every aspect of all those topics. But our objective is to get you started in the right direction. We want to give you a basic understanding of the requirements of the job as district commander and give you some tips on how to get started on a successful term. This video should be used in conjunction with the District County Commander's Guide published by National Headquarters. The first thing we need to do is to show you where you fit in the organization of the American Legion. Each department is authorized by the Legion Constitution to organize their intermediate levels between department headquarters and the individual posts to suit their needs. Some departments have county commanders and district commanders. Some have regions, zones, or areas in addition to districts. For the purpose of this video, when we talk about district commander, we're generally referring to the person with direct contact to the individual posts in a specific area. Okay, having made that distinction, let's talk a little about how important your job is as district commander, or better yet, let's hear it from a few folks who have been there themselves.
I think it's probably the most important position in the department because you, as a district commander, have the most contact with the individual post.
Really, I think the district commander is the most important part in all of it. I mean, the post, you got the district, but the department runs by what the district does. If the district doesn't do anything, the department won't do anything.
For one thing, you're a cheerleader, but you're the go-between between that post and department and national.
The district commander and other district officers serve a good role in trying to assist the post in accomplishing their goals. We do not do much program at the district level other than oratorical, but we have a lot of expertise at that level that the post can come to. So it provides a resource for the post to ask questions, to be able to get in touch with other posts in the area or even other organizations in the area.
He is the one person that every post commander knows they can pick up that telephone and say, I've got a problem here, we're doing this, we'd like you to come down, we need a guest speaker, what do you think about this? He is the hinge pins, or helps keep the continuity, keeps the post commanders talking to each other and working together with each other.
Well, the district commander is important simply because that person is coordinating multiple posts within the state to ensure that they're moving in the same direction as the rest of the state towards goals, towards making sure programs are taking effect and they're being participated in the different schools around the state.
Once you walk in the shoes of district commander, you see how important the district structure is to the Legion, to the American Legion, as a tie-in between the posts and the department level.
So, you can clearly see the importance of the district commander in the organization structure. Hopefully, you're ready to roll up your sleeves now and get to work. And there's a lot of important work to be done. As I mentioned before, each department is different, but we've tried to narrow your responsibilities down to a short list of key items. Although it's difficult to prioritize the responsibilities, we asked several current and former district commanders what they feel is the most important responsibility of the district commander. At the top of the list, communications.
Communicating with all the different posts that are within the district, and also communicating with state commander and the state adjutant.
I think the key aspect to district is the communication, is sort of up and down between posts, making sure they're talking together, communicating what state department is looking for to the posts, and communication between the district officers.
Working with 52 posts in my district, we have a formidable job of communicating what other posts are doing, what the district is doing, what division and department are doing. A lot of times we're the conduit that will tend to tie everything together for these guys.
The most important part of being a district commander, in my opinion, is communication with the membership teams in the post.
One of the greatest tools for a district commander is to get into the individual posts and find out who the recognized membership leader in that post is, and then communicate one-on-one and build some rapport with that individual. And the second thing I would say is the telephone. Just like days of old with the insurance salesman and everyone else, one-on-one communications is the best thing you can do in order to ensure that you're getting the feeling and the voice and the personality to find out what's going on in an individual post.
Well, I think a lot of times, I know when I went out and visited, commanders don't always get out to all of their posts, and so sometimes they're like, wow, we haven't seen anybody before. This is really nice. We're glad you came. You know, I go, well, you know, I'm happy to be here, but I want to make sure you understand how important you are to the district and to the American Legion. You perform a vital service because you're servicing this community that you're established in.
Communication of all forms is important, but again, I have found that going to the post and listening, you've got to be able to listen. I've received more answers to questions by listening than by asking the question.
So, by popular demand, we put communications at the top of our list. And if you've been involved with the American Legion for any length of time, you've probably experienced the challenges of keeping everyone informed from the individual post to the department and national headquarters. Part of that communications challenge is solved through good public relations, which we'll discuss in more details elsewhere. But a lot of the solution is simply good old phone calling and post visitations. Next on our list of the responsibilities is mentoring. Nearly every successful Legionnaire credits a mentor with their ability to rise through the ranks or create and manage successful programs. As a leader in the American Legion, it is critical for you to help train and guide the people working their way into leadership positions in the future. Share your successes and failures with them. Teach them the inner workings of the organization. Another aspect of your job is team building. All of us in the American Legion are members of a team, and your job at the district level is to be a coach or team captain for the post in your district, to work together to accomplish our goals and objectives. As a coach, two of your main responsibilities are to establish and communicate your goals and objectives so that everyone on your team is headed in the same direction. Remember that just like individuals on a team, each post may have its strengths and weaknesses, so sometimes you have to tailor your goals to coincide with the resources you have. But again, communicating your goals to your team is critical. Let's talk briefly about setting goals. When we mention goals to a typical Legionnaire, the first thing that comes to mind is membership. Each year we are given specific membership goals to meet based on targets established by national and our department commander. But you should also set goals for your programs, fundraising, post visits. Essentially every aspect of your job as district commander can have at least one goal associated with it. When you set these goals, however, make sure that everyone is involved in setting and achieving the goals. For instance, if you set a goal to increase participation in your high school oratorical contest by 10 students, you need to set that goal with your oratorical contest chairman. Your chairman needs to agree that it's a reasonable goal and accept it. With that acceptance, you now have a buy-in from your chairman, and you're working together to achieve that goal. Your job is then to periodically check to make sure the progress is being made to achieve that goal. Another tip on goal setting: we like to use the acronym SMART. When you establish goals, they need to be specific. A goal to do more to help homeless veterans is honorable, but is very vague. Specify how you intend to help veterans and how much time or money you think is appropriate. That gives you a specific target to shoot for. Your goals should also be measurable. Ask yourself, how much? How many? In other words, how will you know when your goal has been achieved? You should have tangible evidence of completion when you're through. The best goals require everyone involved to stretch a bit to achieve them without being extreme. These are attainable goals. You and your team must have control of the elements required to achieve the goal. If you set goals that are unattainable, you're setting yourself and your team up for failure. Along the same lines, you need to ensure that your goals are realistic. This doesn't mean easy. You need to evaluate the goal with your team and decide together that you can envision the successful achievement of the goal. One of the more powerful aspects of a good goal is that it's time sensitive. Without a starting and ending time, there's no urgency to your goal. Your goal should have a specific ending date or time, and may even include progress dates on which to evaluate how you're doing along the way. The goal should be time sensitive to avoid being put off. So let's assume that we've established our goals for the year or quarter or whatever. And let's say that all the goals meet the criteria to be SMART. Does that ensure success? Not without the buy-in from the rest of your team. That's one of the reasons you want to develop goals with your team. When your chairman and post officers help develop the goals, they'll have some ownership in them. When you all agree that the goals are attainable and realistic, you begin to take responsibility for the goal. Just as you are held accountable to the department commander, your chairman can be held accountable to you for achieving the goal they've set together. Your next job is to motivate the team to success, and few things will motivate the team more than to see positive results of your efforts. If you establish progress dates to measure your goal, your team members will see the results of their efforts immediately and be motivated to continue or improve their efforts. Another way to motivate your team is by recognizing them for their efforts. A certificate or an award, a free meal, or even a personal word of encouragement and thanks go a long way to keeping your team on track. What's the best place to recognize your team? In public, at your district meeting. Like most meetings in the American Legion, our biggest challenge is getting people to attend. Now, this could be your best venue to get your team motivated and fired up. So it's to your advantage to have the best attendance possible at all district meetings. Ensure your meetings have a purpose. Use it as a venue to inform your membership and leadership. You may want to theme your meetings. This can range from inviting and recognizing the media, inviting a National Guard spokesman or your state representative, Blue Star families and Gold Star families. These are just a few examples, and you can solicit input from your post and let them be part of planning and designing meetings. Most importantly, you want to publicize the event well in advance of the meeting. There are business items that must be taken care of, but try to make your meetings as informative and interesting as possible. Use the meeting as a tool to communicate and motivate your team. Let's talk briefly now about public relations as it applies to the district commander. There is a separate program in the series covering public relations because it is critical to everything we do in the American Legion. Please watch that program if you haven't already. In your capacity as district commander, your role in public relations can be twofold. First, as the team leader, you can coordinate the public relations within your area to include a district newsletter where you share information from post to post and from department or national to the post. And you can help coordinate with media in your geographic area to assist the Post in getting their American Legion message points out. This is especially helpful in metropolitan areas where several posts are served by the same media outlet or newspaper. You can become a key contact for those media rather than having several posts vying for the same message. And secondly, you can become a principal spokesperson for the American Legion on issues that affect your geographic area of responsibility. If a VA facility in your district needs attention, or several schools in your area are participating in the oratorical contest, you can represent all of the posts in your district in getting the word out. We'd like to promise you clear sailing during your term, but we think you'll agree that would be a bit unreasonable. While the job is quite an honor, it's definitely not meant to be a ceremonial position. It requires a certain amount of hard work and problem solving.
I don't think you could ask a district commander what kind of problems he's faced and have a single one of them tell you straight-faced he hasn't had problems. We see everything from somebody ran off with the Post money to the Post is dying. The membership has just gotten up in age where they can't do anything anymore. They don't know how to bring in new members. It runs the entire gambit.
One of my biggest problems as the district commander is finding the actual motivated people within that post to do the recruiting.
We find it very difficult in some instances of having a large percentage of the older World War II boys that are very reluctant to go out and sign up younger members and give them a leadership role and mentor them so that they can take over the jobs that the older ones are doing.
Every post has a different set of problems. Some posts are very good at things like membership, for instance. Why? And other posts aren't. Maybe Post A is really good, Post B isn't. Post A may be doing some things that Post B hadn't thought about. District commander who visits all of the posts and meets all of the people at the post, at least the officers, can talk to them, find out what the situation is, and he can help posts that are having some difficulty. Saying, well, Post A is doing this, and they're finding it very successful, and so you can give suggestions. One of the things you must remember, a district commander really has no specific authority over these posts in the sense that each post is autonomous. They make their own rules, they run themselves.
Every post, every district, and every department comes with its own unique set of challenges. There's no way we can possibly cover them all. Our best advice is to prepare yourself by knowing as much as you can about the American Legion at all levels, so you're ready to do some old-fashioned problem solving when the time comes. And since we don't have that magic cap full of knowledge, how can we possibly be prepared to take it all on? Well, if you've already got the job, we hope you're ready now. But if you're behind the curve, just thinking about seeking the office, or you're in the process of mentoring someone, here are a few tips on where to start.
I think the thing that prepared me to be a district commander was the 5 years I spent as a post commander. I think I saw what was going on there and picked it up from there.
You need the background of being either a finance officer, an adjutant, and then a local post commander, and then try to go to these other training sessions wherever you can find them.
The training I had to be district commander was first starting off as executive committeeman and seeing how the meetings were conducted and the business was handled at the meetings. I did advance to vice commander of the district before I served as commander, so I got a little more exposure that way too.
study the American Legion Extension course, become familiar with the things that are in there. And of course, that's not going to be all there is to know. You're going to have to confide in your commanders of the posts that are in your district, also with the state adjutant and the state commander.
You've got to be able to attend as many conferences, leadership seminars that is offered to you, because you always learn something from the people on the platform, but you also learn something from the folks that you're rubbing elbows with at the conference.
As a district commander, we should make every effort to mentor the ones coming up. And we've had training sessions in the past that organized on a department level, and it was very good.
Some of the fellows thought that I would make a good vice commander and more or less drafted me. Well, then after they drafted me, then I got a hold of them and I said, okay guys, now you drafted me, now teach me what I'm supposed to do. So I kind of come into it backwards. I had the hat and then I learned about the job. So sometimes they say, you know, the best school is the school of hard knocks. So that's kind of the way I learned it. It's fun to look back on now, but it also was difficult. So it would be much better to bring along and mentor someone to fill these shoes as we go along. And I think that since then, I have helped start a mentoring program and mentor our district officers.
The officer's guide's probably first and foremost. There's a lot of good information there. They do a great job of drawing broad outlines around things, and then you can tailor that to your individual needs.
Something important to me is that make sure that the district commander is trained. I find a lot of the district commanders are not trained to my standards. And I think one of the best things is make sure they're trying to enhance their knowledge about the American Legion, make sure they're trying to motivate the district officers, make sure they're trying to get more posts involved and informed so they can get more posts to the district meetings.
So, step one is to work your way through the levels and participate in as many programs and functions as you can. The more you know about post-level activities, the better prepared you'll be to coach as a district commander. And you'll also want to take advantage of every opportunity for professional development and training your department and national have to offer. Go to every conference and convention you can. You learn not only from the sessions you attend, but it's a great opportunity to network and collaborate with your comrades in your area. Sharing experiences and successes will give you ideas on how to better motivate and train your team members. There are also many training opportunities available, such as the American Legion Extension Institute, available through emblem sales. This is a course every Legionnaire should enroll in. Another great source of background information is the District County Commander's Guide, prepared by National. Your department may have a similar publication, or you may want to ask your department adjutant for any background information on the operation and structure of your department. You should read your department constitution and bylaws periodically to keep up on local organization and procedure. Also available to you are Legion colleges at the department and national levels. The colleges are specifically aimed at future leaders of the organization and offer special opportunities to learn from staff and fellow students alike. Assuming that you're working hard and things seem to be going well for you as a district commander, how will you know if you are actually successful? How can we define a successful district?
A successful district would be a district that all of the posts within that district can achieve the 100% membership goal, naturally, as a primary, and then see what those particular posts are doing out there for the veterans as well as for the children and youth of the community. We can't leave it all on membership. It's how they're taking care of the veterans and the kids out there is so very important also.
One that is working the Legion programs, meeting regularly, and staying out of trouble, and achieving 100% or more in membership retention and recruiting.
I think a successful district is a district where the posts are happy, where the posts have active programs, where the posts are in their community. When you see the post name in the newspaper, when you hear about the post doing this program or that program on the television, and when you have a district committee and the majority of your posts show up, and they know each other, and they shake hands, and they feel like comrades, they talk like comrades, I think that's a successful district.
We understand to be successful, you might need a little help along the way. There are resources at the department and national level to support you when you need it. One of the most valuable resources is people. Your department adjutant and staff can be invaluable to you, since they are the corporate memory of the department. The department officers, NEC and DEC representatives, and the committee chairs and program chairs for the department are likewise invaluable. Don't hesitate to call them. And likewise, the men and women at your national headquarters in Indianapolis are available to answer questions or provide materials to support you. There is a staff member responsible for nearly every program and activity of the American Legion. Their phone numbers are on the back of the District County Commander's Guide. And one of the easiest and most accessible resources is your national website. In addition to the latest news regarding Legion issues, there are forms, publications, speeches, marketing materials, and links to other resources at your disposal. If you haven't already, spend some time exploring the Legion.org website. And your department and national staff may even be available to perform site visits for training or membership assistance. The key here is to ask. Another great resource from Department and National is the literature available that covers nearly any topic. Whether you're having a membership drive or putting together a Legion baseball team, there's information available to help you get started, usually at little or no cost to you. Again, the key is to ask what's available. An often untapped resource is the men and women who have preceded you, the previous officers of the organization who have been there. You can learn a lot about how and how not to do your job by sitting down with those who have done it. One of the tools we use at national level to report time and monies the American Legion spends in support of its programs is the Consolidated Post Report. We discuss it a bit more in the Post Operation module. While this is primarily a post function, you, as the district commander, have a key role to play in this process.
As district commander, you've got to get out there and talk to the post commanders to get those reports completed. Many folks just flat do not complete the reports because they say, hey, there's not enough blocks on there that I can check. And that's farthest thing from being true. Any block is appropriate and very important.
Consolidated post reports is probably one of the most important reports that you'll have in the American Legion because it gives you an idea of what all the posts are doing.
That is where a post can toot their own horn, reporting the number of dollars they've spent on VA programs, the number of hours they have donated to VA programs. At the department level, it's the same thing. That gives the department the opportunity to toot their horn and tell national, look what the state of Mississippi did this year.
It gives us an idea of the strength of our programs, the time each post devotes to that program, and when you bring it all together at the department level, sometimes the numbers are staggering.
Membership, membership, membership. It's a vital issue at all levels of the American Legion. As a district commander, you should be a key person on the membership team for every post in your district. Remember, you're the coach, you're the motivator.
Membership goals that's set by department. Well, we can actually, if we feel we want to be a little bit more aggressive, let's say if department, if their goal is maybe 1% or 2% over, we can be a little bit more aggressive. We also can have our own incentives within the district. We can try to generate some competition outside the district with other districts also, and just get people motivated.
You have to try to motivate those posts to want to continue on. And I told one person my post, he found out that our post had 100%, so he wanted to know, why do we need to get more members? And I said, if you go out and make $1 million, are you satisfied? Or are you going to try to go for $2 million? And I was kind of hoping he might get the message there that you don't stop just because you got 100%, you just keep going and see how much you can get.
Motivate each post commander, and each post commander motivates down. You know, like I say, that's the way you do it. The membership goes from the post commander down. And you got a good membership team, then the sky's the limit.
One thing we find in South Mississippi is the unique personality of each post often defines how you're going to motivate that post to go out and get membership. We have bingo posts. We have posts with no hall, no building. They meet at a local restaurant. So to figure out the personality of a post and what that post's goals are is essential to figuring out how you're going to motivate that post to get out and get members and get personnel. Some posts don't want to grow. Some posts are in a small community and they like it just the way they are. And we call those hard nuts to crack. You know, how do you figure that one out? So sometimes you don't always win. But the important thing is that to keep looking at that post and if you will, keep chipping away at the nut till you get a crack in the shell and you can crack that nut.
Successful district goes back to membership. If you get 100%, you could rest assured that the folks are buying into your programs. And the membership, regardless of who said, the membership is the measuring stick as to whether your district or whether your post is actually doing what they're supposed to do. Again, it's going back to winning again. If you got a basketball team winning, then of course they're going to follow that winning team. If you have a Legion post in your community that's actually winning, that's doing scholarships, that's feeding the veterans, and doing community activities, and then actually helping our veterans get from point A to point B that can't get there, then other veterans will follow that. So here again, the measuring stick is truly membership.
What we're going to do here in a month is get the post commanders, the membership chairs together from all the posts and whoever else wants to attend and talk about post issues relating to primarily membership, make sure everybody knows how to fill out the forms, sort of like a district college, District Legion College in essence. We found it worked really well last year when we tried it the first time.
I went to our department adjutant, who is a huge resource. From the department post, Post 106, we found hundreds of members who could be members in our local area. For one reason or another, they didn't like the area, it was too far to a post. So using that information, we decided to, number one, start up an old post and revitalize it. And going with the department and with the national office, we brought in a membership team and revitalized Ocean Springs Post 42, which ironically turns out to be the oldest post in the state, who fell on hard times, completely, almost totally disbanded. And we revitalized that post and got it going again. And now we have over 100 members in that post, and they're going strong.
One last bit of advice for you as you begin your term as district commander. Make sure that you become familiar with the key programs of the American Legion so that you can teach and support our common goals. For example, our TS2, Troop Support Services program, is designed to inform the young service members and his or her family that we are prepared to assist whenever we can, either through the Family Support Network, the Welcome Home program, or reconnecting ourselves with the active duty, National Guard, and Reserve components. Resolution 169, adopted at our 87th National Convention in 2005, is a commitment of support to the war on terrorism and our men and women in uniform. It is also a call for us to educate the public about the negative effects that the anti-war movement can have on morale and in furthering the cause of terrorism around the world. And there are many more issues that come up each year. You should know what the current issues are regarding veterans' health care and compensation, and what positions the American Legion is taking. You should be familiar with the politics in your district so you can rally your post in support of the grassroots efforts so critical to the success of our programs. You don't necessarily need to know everything that's going on in the American Legion today, but you do need to familiarize yourself with the key issues and know where to find the answers to things you don't know. A little bit of mentoring and a whole lot of networking can keep us all on track. Hopefully, you're feeling a bit more prepared to take on the very important job as district commander. Your job is critical to the success of the organization. You are the key link between the department and post organizations, and you need to be versed in many disciplines to be successful. But one of the key responsibilities is to make sure that the communications flow is kept open and constant. And always remember that it's a two-way process. Many have worn this distinguished cap before you. They've got a lot of experience to share. And as you know, Legionnaires aren't shy about giving out free advice. So maybe this cap does have a few magic answers after all.
Go to the department or call them and tell them you want 10 copies of every publication I got. Transfer forms, I always carried more than that of them, but just get 10 of everything and put in a box, put in your vehicle. When you go in that post, they say, we need a Boy State application. Could you have somebody send one? Better yet, I'll go get you one. You just made a friend right there.
When I visit a post, either for a meeting or a social activity, and speak with the commander, I try and know ahead of time what the agenda of that post is going to be for the next several weeks, or what big events they have up. Then I find out that I have more credibility. They feel like I'm interested in what they're doing, and they're much more responsive.
Probably the most important thing I would tell a new district commander would be to make sure that they make every effort possible to get to every one of their posts, and to make sure that those posts know that they are an integral part of that district.
All too often we go into a post and we'll start talking about a program, and the guys give you the deer in the headlight look. They have no idea what you're talking about because either the post adjutant didn't bring the information forward or the post commander didn't take any time to read it. They're really not familiar with a lot of what actually goes on at any level of the Legion.
My main goals as command is to try to integrate the posts a little bit more on some of the programs. We have 11 posts that are fairly active. We're fairly close to each other, so I'm thinking if we can integrate some of the like programs in each post, then it might serve the communities a little bit better and provide assistance between posts that have some manning issues on occasion for some of the programs.
If there's one place where I wished I could have excelled better, it would be in getting all the district officers involved, from the vice commander all the way down to the sergeant at arms, the chaplain, all the district officers.
You can spend 15 to 20 minutes with an adjutant, 15 to 20 minutes with a commander of a post, and another 15 minutes or so with a service officer, and you're going to have a pretty good idea of just how efficient that post is in terms of what programs are they into, what are they doing, and then you can, catalog all that stuff later when you return. Your job is not to run roughshod over a post. Your job is to encourage them and to support them whenever they can.